Like,
Oh, I
yeah,
got
keep
you.
it. Like, I don't need it too big. Like, I will probably put like small stuff on there.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep, yep.
And welcome back to episode of 7 of Pirate Talk. And I'm your host, Monkey D Hokage. I feel like my name changes every day, like every
It does.
stream.
It does.
And then we also got my co-host here, the one, the only Pirate Hunter HV Nimbus, also known as HV Nimby or
We are
Pirate
not.
Hunt.
No, no, no. We are not making that thing.
We're making it a thing.
No.
Pirate Hunter Nimby.
Oh my God.
And we are going to discuss or review episode 7. We got one more episode after this, and we're done with Pirate Talk. B, I feel so special doing this. Not special, but I feel so accomplished doing this. How about you?
Yeah, because it made it long. And you know what? At this point, I really do understand why people can't make it like to through like 5 episodes. Because at this point, I'm like, oh wow, this is really going on for a long time.
Honestly, because I think we have each other, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Versus other people, when they do it, they're doing it by themselves. So I can see how they could be stressful too. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start off with the scene clearly opens up. Well, not clearly. It opens up with the Straw Hat Pirates minus Nami, because you guys know Nami in the end of episode 6. She leaves the Bratier with Arlong, and now the scene opens up with the Straw Hats on their way to get Nami. And as you can see here, they actually have Buggy with them. Because remember, Nami's the navigator, so she would have to be the one to kind of know which island to go to. But they don't have Nami, so second best choice was Buggy, because he has a bar no me the what's it called? What was it? A bar no me, but in English terms, it is the
Chop
chop
chop.
chop fruit. Yep, it's the chop fruit. So Arlong, they took his head to kind of find the Straw Hats, but the Straw Hats are using Buggy's head to find Arlong Park, which I kind of find it interesting because they found us through you, we're gonna find them through you. And Chris, Luffy's a little upset at it that Nami's not there. Zoro's trying to say like she never wanted to be with us. She never liked us to begin with, so why are you going after her? And that's when Luffy was like, nah, she actually did want to come because he got that foresight. And then Usopp is like, Usopp being scared because he don't want to go. And then they also got Sanji now, so Sanji's officially a part of the Straw Hat crew. And he's sipping over Nami because he's on the same side with Luffy, where it's like Luffy believes Nami doesn't want to be there. Sanji also doesn't. He also believes Nami don't want to be there only because of the sole reason, because he was like beautiful women basically cannot be evil,
That's his only logic.
which is okay because that's true. Pretty girls don't fart.
That's a lie.
Prove it.
Wait, okay, so where's the gas go?
That's where they go. Hee hee.
That's not how that happens.
Yes, it does.
No, it's not.
Prove me wrong.
I'm about to say any email will prove you wrong.
All right, but ladies out there, who wants to go on a date with me? I just want to see if you fart or not.
What the?
But you got any thing to say about this scene, B?
Um, Not really. I think it's no. I think it's actually just kind of funny that they using Zoro's using his head as a what's the like those little rods, not those little metal rods you're supposed to use to find water or something like that.
Let me see. I know what you're talking about, but at the same time, I can't picture it.
Is it dowsing rods or something? I can't remember if that's the word for it. Hold on.
It's a metal rod to find water. Yep, it's a dowsing rod.
Oh, I knew the name right off the bat. Cool.
Let's go. These
Yeah,
guys. These guys.
that's literally what how they're using Buggy.
Honestly, look at it.
Like find the rest of your body so you can tell us where they at.
There you go. That's how you gotta does got his head like that. Like, why you gotta have his whole arm out? I mean, he was actually about to in this scene. He was actually about to drop Buggy in the ocean because he was being annoying. But at the same time, I can see what you're talking about too.
To me, it looks like all right. Point the way to us, or you are going to fall in the ocean.
Honestly, you know what? Buggy's now a dowsing rod. Honestly, that's the best thing. Like, because Buggy technically that's what he did in the last episode. Like, he literally like he doused Rod his ear, and that's how they managed to find him.
That is true. He just
So
found his way to him. So yeah.
talk about Buggy being broken. So he's saying, and it's the fact that he can separate pretty much any part of his body. So if I had his ability, what I would just find people, I would take like the tiniest piece off of my finger and go like, all right, hide it somewhere in their belongings. And I'm like, all right, let's douse Rod to try and find where they going. I mean, I slithered around like a Orochimaru, like doing that.
Ew.
Sasuke.
I don't know if it works that way. Like they've only shown like him take off like whole body parts, not like a fingernail or anything.
Well, no. Then when was it Mihawk when he was slicing up Buggy at the war? Then he kind of sliced him.
He did a few chops, didn't he? But I don't think he did it into tiny pieces.
Hold on. Up, I done dropped my mic. I caught it though. No, I'm gonna watch the scene real quick. We can watch it all together.
Okay.
I'm not gonna watch it all the way.
Oh, it's fine. You can show a blue clip.
Yeah, that's why I knew it. See, right there.
Oh, he turned into strips.
Exactly. So I kind of figured, like, oh, maybe he could, because he pops himself right back on.
Does he? Like, does it show the? Oh, he does. Okay, so I did not know he can. I forgot that he did that. I thought he like swung like maybe 5 times and that was it.
Nope. Buggy literally got turned to strip. So that kind of made me believe that maybe Buggy could take like a small strip of himself, place it somewhere, and he just, douse himself back around.
That's a little weird. And you know what? That reminds me of Clayface from, you know, Batman's enemies.
You're right. So who will win if I Buggy or Clayface?
Clayface.
You're right, because Buggy's literally like pretty much invincible to slicing attacks.
Yeah, Clayface
Where
can transform into anything.
yeah, and then he can turn to blunt attacks. He can literally just smother him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also kind of liquid esque. So
Yeah,
eh,
Clayface won that.
yep, yeah, that was an easy battle. All right, so yeah, the Straw Hats are pretty much on their way over to Kokoyashi Village to get Nami back, and of course, like I said, Luffy he believe him and Sanji believe that they that Nami is not evil. Zoro kind of, I think Zoro doesn't want to, like, he does believe Nami's not a bad person. He just doesn't want to believe at the same time.
I think it's more like a loyalty thing. Like
Mm,
if, like you said before, if she really wanted to be here, she'll be here. If not, then you see where her loyalty lies.
True. Sorry, I'm like chewing something. That's why I turned my mic and camera off for a hot second.
Oh, but yeah, uh, Zoro. I think it's the whole thing. The same way like how who was it with Usopp challenging uh Luffy for the ship
Mm-hmm.
at Water 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Like they couldn't just. He said you can't just let him back in. He has to beg to come back.
Yeah. Which makes sense because like Zoro's a very serious character. And he like even though personally like Zoro clearly knows that Luffy is not playing around when it comes to being pirates, but I think he also just wants Luffy to be more serious. And I'm starting to understand that maybe like Zoro's like this is just Luffy as a whole,
Hmm.
and I think he's just starting to come to terms with that. Like in the series though, compared to like how he is now.
Right.
But yeah. And then we also start to see which they pulled the trigger on this early, but the Sanji and Zoro rivalry, like the brotherly rivalry, because they already started going back and forth. It was like, yo, you should cook me something already. Like, why are we taking advice from the chef over here? Well, I don't know what you're talking about because I am probably the best one here when it comes to the ladies' Moss head. And I was like, they're kind of going back and forth already, but that technically wasn't supposed to start until what's it called, when they finally made it to meet those Dory and Bragi, when they had the
Oh,
yeah, because that's when their rivalry start around that time period.
but hold on. Nah, I feel like they always started. I thought like they started to fight even
Hmm.
like during this arc right here, but it wasn't like until uh I would say when they got to Nami's island and they were discovering more about Nami's past.
You're
See,
right, Arlon Park. You was right.
haha.
During the One Piece, Arlon Park Nami's motivations and desires were finally revealed, but it was also when Sanji and Zoro had their first short but real fight. Zoro escaped the fisherman with Nami's help, and she had to pretend to kill Usopp to prevent speculations from arise. Okay, so that makes sense. Like Nami helped Zoro, and Sanji got jealous.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I was like, I knew it was somewhere on her island.
So
Ugh.
let's see here. Let's continue. Let's continue. So then, of course, we continue. We get a small little flashback now. But I gotta talk about this part here. Uh, when does it show up? Basically, like every episode I was talking about, like the jolly, like the One Piece logo popping up, and it caters to that episode particularly.
Yeah.
So in this one, we finally got Nami's One Piece logo, which is right here. So we got the headband, which is supposed to be her shirt. We got the little swirls for her hair, the cutesy eyes, like their skulls winking with the little tongue out, and then you got the tangerines, which we're going to find out this purpose of the tangerines in later on episode. Oh, and I didn't even realize till now, but the
Compass.
yep, the little that no is that a compass?
I am calling it a compass because a
It,
compass
it,
is used to draw graphs, and also you can draw maps too with it.
I spell circle with an S. Wow.
Wow. Uh, yeah. If it's not a compass, it's something with G that I cannot say right now.
It's it's this thing here.
I'm calling that a compass or a protractor.
It actually is a called compass.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Is a compass for geometry, but yeah, I never knew it was called compass. I always thought it was called something else.
Nah, it's a compass. I remember this specifically for geometry. Geometry was one of my best classes.
That's true. You get to draw shapes. Shout out to B with the extra knowledge over here.
Honestly, geometry is how I got good at angles.
No lie. You know how I got good at pool, like playing pool. Remember Cyber Chase?
Uh huh.
So you know, like at the end of each episode, they had like those, like either that guy or that girl, kind of going through everyday life, and they use what we learned in the episode in everyday life.
Right.
So in that episode, they was talking about geometry, and then at the end of the episode, when it was, I believe the girl, she was talking like she was playing pool with one of her friends, and they asked her like, "Why are you so good at pool?" And she was like, "Oh, it's because I use the geometry and the dimensions of the table to get better at it." And she was like, "For example, I know for a fact that this is 2 stick long, push, and if I hit it right here with like off this angle, it's gonna go the bounce this way to hit the ball." She did it, and I was like, "Oh." And I started doing that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm good at pool."
He goes,
Man, talk about Cyber Chase. We moving, we beating Hacker at his game.
all right.
All right.
I'm surprised you remember that song.
I was because I was watching it the other day.
Oh wow.
I know, right? It's oddly convenient.
Yes.
So where did we leave off at? Yep. So the episode, like after the this Nami One Piece logo here, we go into a slight flashback, and we actually no, before the flashback, we see Nami sitting in Arlong Park playing cards with Chu. Here, let me get the scene up first. Hold up here. Oh, wait, no, yeah, it goes into the flashback first. But we see 2 little girls running in a field. One with orange hair, one with blue hair. Trying to get. Oh, they look so happy and joyful. It's so adorable.
Mm.
Here we go. So we see 2 little girls running through a field. Clearly, we know this is Nami, but we don't know who this this little girl is yet. But you can see that there's tangerines around, which that again will play into symbolism really soon later on in the episode. But we see them running through a field, and they're painting on each other, like drawing flowers, like drawing windmills, and we see like their adult figure with them. And here she is. We still don't know their name yet, though, because this is just a slight flashback. But you can just tell how happy it is. But we all know this is One Piece. If for some odd reason a mother is still alive and smiling, so in One Piece, smiles and love in a flashback don't last too long. Am I?
That's wrong.
I mean, it's kind of true.
It's true, but it's just wrong to like point out.
I, I mean, when's the last time we see a happy mother in the main series besides the Don? But you know what happened with her? She lost her son. She lost Ace.
Okay.
She still
Yeah.
lost Ace in a way. She thought she lost Sabo, but Sabo's back. But she still lost one son for another. So in One Piece, there's no happy mothers for some odd reason. Maybe that's Emu's ability. Just take away mothers.
That's
Say, nah, they don't need a mom.
that's effed up. I,
But yeah, but go on, B. What was you about to say?
no, I was trying to think. Hold on, there has to be a happy mother somewhere in there.
Mm-mm. Name one happy mom.
I'm thinking. Who? You know what I was about to say?
Your big mom.
Nah, she can't be considered a happy mom. She's a dictator.
I mean, she is technically happy for herself.
She barely happy.
You're right.
Uh, dang. Any character that's important, all their moms are pretty much gone.
I told you.
Uh, damn. Hold on. This is wrong because I was literally thinking. I was like, okay, think. Like, hold on. Vivi. Well, nope. Mom's dead.
Yep.
That's like Shirahoshi. Mom's dead. Uh, try to think of the main characters, which would be the Straw Hats and
Oh wait, I know one. Chopper.
can that be considered mom still alive and well and happy?
No, what's her name? Dr. Kureho. That's basically his mother figure.
Okay. All right, that's one.
So that counts, right?
Sort of.
But you're trying to look for like pure blooded mothers or just like mothers in general, no matter what.
I would say mothers in general, but I guess if mothers in general, then Dr. Kira, wow, whatever. She would be considered one. I can't think of anyone else. I don't think anyone else. Hold on.
I think Oda just hates moms.
It seems that way at this point. You have the best character development when your mother dies.
You right. Ma! Alrighty, here. So, like I said, Kushino, that doesn't last too long. A smiling mother in One Piece never lasts too long. And it cuts back to Arlong Park. And we see Nami, like, she's playing cards with Chu. If you guys don't remember Chu, he's the one fishman that looks like Zarbon from Dragon Ball Z.
Mm,
Oh, come on, you know it's true.
That's actually true.
Here we go. That's Chu. But she's playing cards with Chu, and Chu is losing because he's getting mad and he believes that Nami is cheating. And so he pulls in all in, trying to bluff Nami out. Nami's like, "No, I'm going all in too." Chu says a straight flush of fours. I'm mad I know this scene directly. But Nami has a queen, like a full house of queens, which is, I think typically it has to be three or more. I can't remember. I'm not even gonna try and guess that shit. And Chu, cause like he basically he's like, "Yo, you cheating?" And Nami says, "This crew don't play about their money." Which I found that line kind of interesting coming from Nami because she don't play with her. She don't play about her money in general.
Oh, she don't.
And so that's when Kaboji shows up. Kaboji. Let's see if I can pull him up. I think I spelled his name wrong.
Yeah, you pulling up food.
You know what? Let's just do this. One Pice. Here we go. Arlong Pirates.
You sure it's not Kabuchi or Kabuchi?
I believe so.
Okay, then you definitely spelled it wrong.
Just gonna go through this way.
Oh, the long way.
I know, right? Karubi. We was both wrong.
Karubi?
Yep.
Oh,
We was both wrong.
we had the K and B right.
We had the K and the B. Cubby.
Mm-hmm. Kobe.
Kobe. But yeah, Karubi shows up and tells Nami like, "Hey yo, Arlong wants to have a word with you," and she walks away. But I found it kind of interesting that as she's walk away, she's putting the cards that she used to win in her hand, like in her bag with the money she won. So which means it implied that she was cheating the whole time. Which they hence they call her Black Cat Nami because she's going to trick you into getting the money. What do you think of that scene, B?
Well,
Oh
it's
wait,
an
I'm sorry. Before you continue, but as Nami's walking to the like to Arlong's cabin, we actually see Buggy's body sitting there, hanging on the what's it, a carnival game? Where it's like it was being hung like it's a prize. That's what made me laugh at it. And she walks away smiling. All right, go ahead, B.
but I was saying that's a classic Nami thing because uh she always like will try her best to get her money. Well, you find out later why she needs her money, but uh it's just like a classic thing. She'll always trick you out of your money, even if she has to get basically gaslight you for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a classic move. I just liked it. That's all.
Word.
Go say it's Ice Spice.
Who said it was Ice Spice?
Rachel says it's Ice Spice. I didn't know she cameoed in the show.
Don't be talking about my wife.
Oh my gosh.
She is. Ice Spice is my wife. Bars. Love you, baby.
Okay.
She
Whatever you have
she
to
she
say.
knows she watches this podcast, right?
No, she don't. No,
She
she don't.
does. She does. She
No.
told me. She told me
When?
in the DMs.
Okay.
She literally messaged me. She was like, "OMG, you are so cute, and I love the Pirate Talk podcast. LOL. You should hit me up sometime. LOL." And I was like, "Bet. LOL."
And then you woke up, right?
Nah, I went to bed,
No.
and then I woke up. So
Alright.
next scene comes in. Nami opens up the door to a room,
Yeah, you
but
get catfished.
I'm not getting catfish. We FaceTimed and everything.
AI.
It's not AI. We
AI.
used Uvu.
What the no? Is that still around?
I hope it is. Please. Oh my gosh, it's still here.
It cannot still be a thing.
It's a featured app at uvu.com. Okay. Yeah, you can still download it. Apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, we should get Uvu. We should make Uvu a thing again.
No.
Yo, why not?
I forget what it was, but that was a terrible app.
All right, fine. We'll Skype.
Oh my god.
Word. So yeah, she enters into the room, and she in the middle of the room you see a table. See if I can get this angle just right. Here we go. Got it. I got the angle just right. Here we go. So she in the middle of the room we see a table with some chairs. And of course, you know, the camera zooms in a little bit more, and it's a picture of a map. But and it shows and it's implied that because we already know that Nami knows how to draw maps, and she knows how to chart the world pretty much. But what you kind of see is that as she's walking to the table, she kind of pays attention to this chain that's on the floor that implies that she was actually locked up in here drawing maps for Arlong to probably sell overseas and stuff like that, or to get the map of the world to run the world pretty much. What you think, B?
Oh, sorry. Uh, oh my gosh. Okay, first off, she wants to make making maps is like her what you call her passion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I think the scene is pretty much well, actually no, that scene in general is her uh remembering what she had to do sitting there because basically that was her prison. She had to sit there for well, I don't know how long, but she was chained up or whatever there, right? As you can see, the chains sitting there.
Yep.
Yeah, but however long she was chained up for, she had to sit there making maps for Arlong's crew. So I don't know how long she was sitting there, but I think she was just sitting there like, all right, I made maps for the crew. She just remember her past or how tragic or dramatic it was, or probably just remembering why she's doing what she's doing.
Now, I did have a slight issue with this,
What?
but we actually have to wait till we get later on in the episode when we get further into our flashback, and I'll explain it then because it's a little bit confusing to me. But like I said, we'll get there when we get there because it does happen in this episode, but like kind of towards the end. And then so now we go back into another flashback where we see Kid Nami learning how to draw maps by studying a map itself. And she's tracing it with her finger. Which, I will say this, because guys don't know, I draw it myself. And one of the biggest pet peeve I have when people, when some people say, oh, it's cheating to learn how to draw by tracing. I say no, learn how to trace. What she's doing here because she's learning how to trace out a map before she actually goes in and draws her own map. So if you ever want to learn how to draw, I always say start off tracing because you want to start getting familiar with how to draw those certain positions and body parts. So go for it. But I was like, oh, okay, cool. She's like, she got a map. She's tracing with her finger. You can see the passion in her eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, a map. I love it. And what else? But then, her mother walks in, happy go lucky mom. She walks in with her sister, and he was like, "Hey, yo, what's that behind your book? Behind your head, behind your back." Here, I'm gonna get her mom to show up here. There we go. So she's giving us that yo, she mastered that mom eye. I'm sorry. Where it's like, I know you hot, and so you might as well just tell me what it is now.
True.
And so she says it's nothing. And so she tells Nami to hand over the book, and it's a map book. And she was like, "Where did you get this?" And Nami was like, "Oh, I found it." And she was like, "Nami, where'd you get the book?" And she was like, I stole it from the library." And if you guys don't know her mom's name, her name is, I believe it is, some would it be? Not Bellamy. I don't know. I've been thinking Bellamy for a minute now, but I know it's not Bellamy.
It is somewhere to be though.
Yeah, because her sister's name, the girl, her name is Nojiko. Just because she's best girl. Belmere. That's her name. So this is her anime counterpart right here, and this is the live action counterpart.
That's I would say it was pretty accurate enough.
Mm-hmm. Like, here's why I'm not mad at it. Because she's supposed to be a mother. And how old is Bellamy? Bellamy. Yeah, Bellamy, Bellamere. It doesn't matter, right?
I don't think it really does. She's supposed to have already been like in Marine soldier or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, so she's supposed to be 30. And she looks about around mid 30s, mid to late 30s around here.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty close. At first I was kind of mad because I was like, "Why is her hair shaved?" But then I had to look real closely at it, and I was like, "Oh, it is shaved." Because in some scenes you get more of a lighting on her head, and I'm like, "Oh, it is shaved, perfect." But I liked it. I like the way how she looks. She actually looks pretty accurate in my personal opinion.
Hmm.
Particularly, it was like you shouldn't really have to go all out for her because she doesn't really. She plays an important role to Nami's backstory, but as in main story, which we're going to get to, she doesn't play pretty much a role at all.
Right.
And so she scolds Nami for stealing, and Nami kind of like she gets upset because this is where we find out that Bellamere is not Nami's biological mother. She's her adoptive mother because her parents was killed by pirates. And then in return that means that the other little girl, which I might as well just tell you her name is dang, I'm mad I forgot her name. Nojiko.
Oh,
Yep. But yeah, that Nojiko is not her real sister. They are adopted siblings, and they was adopted by Belmere during a pirate raid on a village, which would have been Nami's no hometown. Which this is also because I noticed this even in the live action is also implied that uh Nojiko is also from that same hometown too, because she finds both of them at the same time. Is that what happened though?
I think so. I think it's sort of implied.
Word. I mean, I could see it because they never really explained it in the anime, right? That they're from the whole time. They just like, yeah, I just found y'all too, and I took y'all in, and now y'all my
Yeah,
babies.
pretty much. She just like found them and, adopted them.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, bet. So now, what is it? Nami runs off because she is sad. She is so sad. Like she doesn't understand why anything. It's like, why is she scolding me for stealing the book? And I was like, Nami, you stole the book. And she runs over to the orange tree, and so this is where the symbolism for the orange or the tangerine trees come in, because Nojiko, what she would do as a like just to kind of like what's it kind of make them feel better is that she would take like the peel of the orange and put it on a stick and make like a pinwheel. And if you guys don't know what a pinwheel is, it's one of these. It's a pinwheel. Is it with an I or E? Yep.
I
But it's one of these. So she makes these using like a basic wooden stick and the peel of the orange. And B, do you know the symbolism between the a pinwheel and Nami?
uh the pinwheel has something to do with the mayor because the mayor always had the pinwheel in his hat.
You're right, but for some reason, the live action didn't really expand on that.
Yeah, no, the mayor's supposed to be more significant to Nami, but they didn't make it that way.
Nah,
If
which we're gonna go over soon because there was some changes in that there too.
as I say, yeah, if Belmere, yeah, if Belmere is Nami's mother, then the mayor would be technically Nami's father.
Mm-hmm. Which is adorable. So what happens next? So we kind of get the flashback of what we just talked about, like how Belmere found Nami and Ojiko during a pirate raid, and we cut back to the past, what back to the present, and Arlong walks into the room that Nami was in, and he was like, "Ah, this room brings back a lot of memories here." And I'm like, dog, that's why you gotta be so happy about it. Like she's standing right there. And so Nami hands her the map, well, hands Arlong the map of the Grand Line. And this is where pretty much Arlong, we get some more backstory, not backstory, but more an idea of what Arlong's, what's his, motive now. And he was going to use the map of the Grand Line to start kind of making the fishmen more provident in the world, or not provident, but more well known in the world. And by using the Grand Line map, because you guys know the Grand Line, which they always talked about in the series, is where the best of the best pirates are at, where the worst seas are at. There's monsters out there, and Arlong believe if he can take control of the Grand Line, he can take control of the world, which is kind of valid. So we,
It's, mm, I think it is pretty valid, but I think also I think he was more aiming for just the seas themselves. Like you don't really, yeah, excuse me, yeah, you don't really need the islands on the Grand Line
mm,
because what you really need is the pathways through the Grand Line, which would be the waters, the seas.
mm,
And that's why he wanted Nami to make a map of pretty much the whole world
mm.
so that he can basically take over the whole world by what was his grand how was it explained? He wanted so how did the fishermen do this? They make whirlpools
So
and
they,
they basically sink an island if they could.
yeah, so they used, because you know their fisherman karate pretty much let them manipulate the water, and
Yeah.
that's how they can pretty much like sink islands and all. If there's enough of them, they can all use the fisherman karate to sink the world. Because I
Right.
feel like
Yeah.
you can't be a merman or like a fisherman or merfolk without knowing fisherman karate.
I think that's a part of their if nothing else, I think they have to know like the basic movement one, which would probably be like manipulating water.
Yeah, which honestly, that's kind of a busted ability if you really look at it.
I think it yeah, it actually is.
Cause it's like when we was playing Halloween last night, and you kept telling me not to go in the water because Jason's faster in the water. That's essentially what it is. Like, don't let a fishman or a morpher touch the water because you're gonna lose.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, and so now we cut over to the Briatier, where we see. Oh, I will go back. There we go. Where we see Garp and his crew. So we got Garp right here. We got Bogart. We got Helmeppo. And we got Kobe here. They're walking in because, of course, they received word that Luffy and his crew had went to the Baratier, and they walk in. And originally, the fishman right here that Nami paid off in the last episode, he was like, yeah, we don't take reservation. Like, we only take reservations. You guys can't come in. And he turns around, he realizes it's Garp, and he's like, oh, no, no, no. So Garp, okay, I misdid that whole scene. Garp asked the fishman, he wants to speak to the owner of this fine establishment. He says, nah, I can't do that, basically. And he turns around and knows it's Garp, and he's like, oh, he'll be right with you then. So, which means that kind of shows the type of power that Garp has, which is pretty dope. And then that's when our boy Zeph, who is, best One Piece dad, in my opinion. So he comes out and he was like, Marines and a vice admiral all in my restaurant? What did I basically do to deserve this? Which, honestly, I feel like this is also kind of implying that, I mean, we all know that Zeph was a pirate before opening up the restaurant. And it made me think, if Zeph was still a pirate now, what level do you think he'll be at?
If Zeph was still a pirate, I think it has something to do with his leg because I feel like his leg to him is sort of a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Like you saw how when he tried to fight, like his leg was a hindrance to him.
Yeah.
So let's say if he still had his leg,
Mm-hmm.
I would say I don't think he will be any. I don't think he's on Garp's level, but I do think he would be somewhere underneath a vice admiral. I'll say it.
Like an admiral.
No, admiral's above vice admiral.
You're right.
Uh, let's think more like Smoker right now.
I think Smoker is a captain.
Yeah, I think that's what he would be. Even though, of course, he was a pirate captain, but um, I think Zeph would be like a captain level against the Marines. With
So
actually no.
there's the ranks are Choi Boy, and from lowest to highest, it's I'm gonna bring it over here so you guys can see it too. It's a
Okay.
chore boy, seaman recruit, seaman apprentice, seaman first class, chief petty officer, master chief petty officer. Oh no, so I guess it's petty officer, chief petty officer, master chief petty officer, warrant officer, lieutenant. What's he here? Design, lieutenant junior grade, lieutenant commander, commander captain, commodore, rear admiral, vice admiral, admiral, and then fleet admiral. So Garp is technically he's admiral level. He just chooses to be staying at vice admiral level.
Right.
So I would
Uh,
agree with you. He'll probably be like captain level.
yeah, captain or just a little bit above captain, which is probably what the
Rear admiral.
yeah, rear admiral or was it Commodore?
Yes. No, so it's
Okay.
commodore then rear admiral. So yeah, I can see him captain as or a commodore.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be somewhere up there around that level.
True, because he like what is it? He taught Sanji how to do everything, like how to fight, pretty much.
Right?
And
And
Sanji was
you
already a beast.
yeah, and you have no idea if you can use hockey or not.
Mm-mm. And he didn't
So
have his spoiler alerts. He didn't have his German tech yet either.
oh, so yeah, you have no clue about what his full potential would have really been.
Exactly. So it was like so like let's just say Sanji up into I would say Whole Cake Island because he didn't unlock his German tech until the raid on on the in Wano.
Hmm.
So I would say that Sanji personally, if he wasn't part of the Marines, I would probably place him at if we're ranking Marine wise, I would probably put him at a Commodore level.
Uh-huh.
Just barely captain, like maybe slightly higher than captain, like the in between. So yeah, like maybe Zeph might would have been Commodore or something like that then. Because you know the master always like the student always got to surpass the master and so on in style. So,
Uh-huh.
but anyway, yeah, back to it here. I'm starting to like the rants. Like I don't mind rants now. Where my thingy thing at? Oh, there it is. So yeah, Zeph comes in, and it seems like Kobe was kind of shocked that they know each other. And then it's like it's kind of obvious that former pirate, pretty strong pirate out there because Garp kind of gives him his praises too. And Garp like was it Zeph pretty much adds to Garp like, hey yo, what you doing here? Pretty much, and he's like, oh, I just want a nice steak from the best chef from the Cook Pirates. But then the well, before we continue, jump over to the next scene. What you think of this one here?
I think ow, sorry. Hit my knee again. Um I think this scene is just more like respect and recognition between like two noted. I don't know, two well noted people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know, since like they already both knew of each other. I don't know when Garp has interactions with certain people, it's almost
She
like
and her old friend.
yeah, like he respects them enough to not really try to like be petty or anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like, all right, you're a great captain or whatever, or a great pirate captain or whatever, but now you're doing a respectable business, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So he just like, all right, you do you, and I'm just here to do my job. That's it.
Which makes sense because like why bring in? Because I wouldn't be surprised if Zeph still have an active bounty, but the Marines just choose not to go after him because he's realistically not doing anything bad.
He's retired basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. So now we cut back to Kokoashi Village, and it is in ruins, like horrible in ruins. And we see Luffy and them walk up, and they look kind of shocked. It was like, yo, this village is trash. I heard this is supposed to be a party in here, my G, but what is this? What is it? You guys got straw roofs that matches my straw hat? Come on.
I have
And
something to say about this, but I'm gonna let you keep going.
all right. And so Zoro asks like, "Who do you think have done this?" And Luffy's kind of points out the obvious. He's like, "Arlong." And that's pretty. What else happens in this scene here? Also, a lot actually happens in this scene. So so let me backtrack real quick. So back when Arlong was talking to Nami here, let me pull this one up here. Give me 1 second. Hold up. Here we go. So in this part here, where Arlong is talking to Nami, because yeah, let me backtrack with that. He's talking to Nami, and what Arlong has done here is so basically he's basically the terminology is that he's a big fish in a small pond. So which means like if you guys don't know, a fishman is about 10 times stronger. A basic fishman is 10 times stronger than a basic human in the One Piece world. Best way to describe it. And the East Blue is actually considered one of the weaker seas in the One Piece world. And in the live action, Arlong basically has full control over the East Blue as a pirate, and everybody fears him. And what he does is that he does tributes to the islands, whereas like they have to kind of pay him like a tax fee for his protection. Best way to describe it there. And he's told Nami to go back to Kokoyashi Village to collect their fees and everything like that. And Nami asks like, well, why can't you send like Chu or Koboji here to do it? And he's like, nah, I want you to do it. Kind of have like a family reunion. And so let me like fast forward back to this.
You know your
And
cam is still off, right?
huh?
So you know your cam is still off, right?
Oh wow, there we go. Well, at least the mic wasn't off. That's the
Right.
more important one. So yeah, so that's when the crew walks back up in here, and they actually meet. So let me see here. I just want to make sure I don't miss nothing here. So, yep, the crew comes in, and they actually see Nami kind of pull up to talk to the head of the village, who is also, excuse me, try and get a good shot here. But let me just bring up him here. So this gentleman here is named Genzo, and Genzo is the basically the mayor of Kokoyashi Village. and they kind of run into him. Well, no, well Nami runs into him because remember the Straw Hats are kind of even though they're there, they're like kind of in the background, seeing trying to figure out what's going on here. Nami then walks up to the village, but she walks straight to Genzo to basically like go collect the tributes and all that there. But they didn't make enough money this year for the protection, and this is when we start to see a bit of a change compared to the original, because we also see best girl adult Nezuko here, not Nezuko. Shit, I'm mad. I forgot her name already. Mm.
Nojiko?
Yes, thank you. There's too many N's. Like there's too many characters with the name N with the N in their name that's very close to it. But we see adult Nujiko here, and she got the tattoos too, and she's looking fine as ever, of course. And yes, I'm sipping. Shut up.
I ain't say nothing.
Why not? Tell
I'm
me.
letting I'm letting you be.
Tell me why. Tell me
I'm,
why.
no, I'm just letting you be. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Before we go on any further,
Mm-hmm.
I have something to say about this village.
Yes.
So you know how you were saying they walked in, it looked like trash or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
bro. I have the so even in the anime and manga, they didn't look like they lived in huts or whatever. Like
They look like they lived in regular houses, right?
yeah, like the architecture was way more sophisticated than that. Like it looked like wooden houses. Like you know what I mean? Like like the basic of wooden houses, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But when you saw this live action, they made it look like they lived in like the bamboo forest.
That's true.
So I didn't know if it had something to do with just where in the world it probably would be, but my whole thing was shouldn't they still have those wooden houses
Here we
instead
go.
of
I was looking for a picture of the houses, but yeah, they look like nice houses. They look like beach houses, honestly.
exactly? It looks like a nice place to be.
But then you get this shit. Oh wait. You get this shit.
Yeah. And then when you come across this a little bit later, when you come across the house that's flipped upside down,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally the same ones of these. I'm like, okay, maybe they made these temporary houses after Arlong busted up their village. That's what I thought for a second.
Nope.
Yeah, later on
Nah.
you see the house that's flipped upside down. Oh, so this is really are their houses. Like this is
Yeah.
how they live.
They're just living in that. They poor. B, they poor. Look at them. They got no money.
I understand, but architecture is still architecture. You can build a good, nice house.
I mean, not with the resources they had.
They have wood somewhere.
So yeah, we meet. That's when we finally meet Genzo, basically Nami's father figure. Best way to describe it. And Nami asked him, "So, do you got the tribute, old man?" And he was like, "Please, Nami, we don't have the tribute. Can we try and do some other way?" And he was like, "No, old man." But then we go back into this episode's a lot of flashback for Nami because I think they just had to kind of tell us her story there.
Yeah, they did.
And now we see this part here where Nami gives the book back to a young Genzo that she stole, and that's when Genzo drops the line saying like, "You're not a bad person, you just done a bad thing," which kind of correlates with like it kind of not correlate, it kind of falls in line with what Luffy was saying when he told Zoro like Nami's not a bad person, she's just in a bad situation.
Yes.
And I was like, ah, so they really trying to hammer in on us that listen, Nami's a good person. She's going to like we know she's going to join the crew. But if you're like a brand new person to One Piece and this is like your introduction, they really had to hammer in that Nami is eventually going to join the crew. It's just that again, she's a good person that just happened to do a bad thing. So yeah. Yeah, let me I'm gonna bring up this scene right here. I'm just gonna glance it. I ain't gonna get copyright if I don't hit play, right?
Yeah, as long as you have just a picture, you're fine. Just don't play any.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that's what young Genzo looks like there. No scars, same mustache though. That's about it.
Uh, you know what? They don't even have his pinwheel in his hat. And I think it has something to do with the fact that he doesn't know, like the whole village doesn't know that about Nami.
Exactly, which we're actually about to get to pretty soon. Cause that's what I was saying. Like that's one of the changes that they did. Is that they didn't have the pinwheel in his head. Where there it is. So this is what we meant by the pinwheel. Like he keeps a pinwheel in his head. And I think the reason why he keeps the pinwheel is because he has a very like strong face,
Yeah, I
and
think it's the.
the pinwheel kind of makes it like funny.
I think it has something to do with also when Nami and Nojiko was babies. I think his face was like scary to them,
Hmm.
so the pinwheel was something that they could focus on.
It's
So
almost like. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, sorry, yeah, it was something they could focus on, like how if you have a baby and you shake your keys in front of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, same thing. So instead of crying at his face that is like strong and kind of scary,
Hmm.
you have them just laughing at the pinwheel that's going around in a circle on top of his head.
You know, what also kind of remind me of in Death Note, not Death Note, Soul Eater.
What?
The reason why Lord that face looks like that, because he even like was it one of his
Oh,
like what's his
yeah,
the Keisha, and he was like, "Oh wow, you changed your face last time I see you." He's like, "Yeah, this face is better for the kids."
yeah. He was didn't want to scare the kids.
Yep. So it's almost like is that same situation. Like I got a strong
Yes,
face, but I gotta figure out a way to make it easy for the kids.
yeah, exactly.
Shout out to him for that, man. And so I'm gonna keep this one up here. So yes, Nami returns the book back to him, but then that's when Arlong and his crew actually starts to raid the village. Which I'm like, they put up no fight whatsoever, did they? They were just like privateer, oh,
Pretty
like
much, but I think they knew they couldn't even fight.
like this guy right here. Look at him. He's like, oh. He's like,
Well,
oh.
if you know that a fishman is way stronger than you, are you really gonna fight back?
Yeah, I'm gonna at least do something.
I mean, I would have ran, but he didn't run. He sat with his hands up and said, "All
He's
right, just hit me."
like, oh. And so yeah, Arlong raised the village, and he pretty much yells out like, "Hey yo, I'm Arlong. I'm taking over this village. We're gonna probably like you're gonna have to start paying taxes to us." And I think it was what was it 10,000 berries for an adult and 5,000 per child. Was that it? We figured it out. And then that's when
That's exactly what it was.
oh it was oh nice go me. So then every like was it Bellamere? Not Bellamere. That's her. Is that yeah? Her name's Bellamere.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Look at me. So we cut back to the present, and here we go. Genzo hands Nami over the chest, and we kind of go back to what I was saying there previously, where he tells Nami they didn't make enough. Nami was like, "Well, that's not what we discussed," and I think this is one of the bigger changes that's about to show up here. And one of the biggest changes, well, no, before we get there, Nami runs into Luffy and them, and she's shocked to see him. But and this is a shout out to the actor that plays Nami. She knows how to put on the correct face for the correct scene. Where her face, it looks more like she's shocked to see them, but it's more so like, "Why are you guys here? I don't want you to die" type face. And then
Yeah.
yep, and that's when Luffy was like, "Oh no, we're here to save you. I know you don't want to be a part of this crew." And that's when Nami's like, "I am. I do want to be a part of this crew." And then she was like, basically like, kind of, oh, but she's also trying to pass a hint to Luffy. Is like, leave the village before you die type deal. I don't want you to get hurt. To show that she also again still cares for the crew. But we're about to figure out why she is still doing what she's doing pretty soon, actually. Pretty gosh darn soon. But you got anything to say?
Uh, no, I think it's the same as you said. She pretty much gave the warning, leave before things get ugly. So yeah, she just wanted to make sure that the only people that she actually made friends with was probably the only people that she made friends with was the Straw Hats,
Mm-hmm.
and she already knew how Luffy was, so they were going to end up in a fight from the get go. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was just basically saying leave before you get yourself hurt.
Makes sense there. And
Mm-hmm.
so Usopp then says like, "Oh, see, I told you she doesn't want to be here. You should go before we get into any trouble because you know Usopp's a coward of the crew." And Luffy was like, "Nah, that's not her." So he walks up to Genzo and he pretty much trying to get some information on what's going on here. And he like asks Genzo like, "Hey, what's going on? Why is the village in its ruins?" And Genzo pretty much says like, "Hey yo, uh, it's because of Arlong." And that's when Zoro's like, "Well, we're here to kick Arlong's ass and collect his bounty." And Quinzo starts to laugh at him, just like, "Hey, no, y'all can't beat him. He's twice your size, twice as strong. You're not going to beat him." And Luffy was like, "Nah, we're going to still try and save her. We're going to try and get Nami back. This isn't her." I feel like I'm kind of skipping around a few things because I'm also like kind of paying attention to this episode here, so I'll make sure I don't miss nothing. But Genzo pretty much just tell Luffy like, get out of town. You're not supposed to be here. And he says no. But in the scene that Luffy was walking up to Genzo, he also noticed that Nojiko was also there too. I forgot to mention that as Nami was walking to the village, adult Nojiko kind of like stopped her because the whole village was scared of her except for Genzo and. But Genzo wasn't more so scared. He was just like, "Why are you here?" And then Nojiko was more like, "You shouldn't be here. Why are you showing your face around these parts?" And but then that's when Luffy realized that, oh, that's somebody standing up to her. So then Luffy actually pretty much convinces Genzo to like kind of point him in the direction of where Nojiko's going to get more information about Nami. And he points him to the right direction. They go to her house, and it's the old house that they grew up in. And Nojiko literally pulls the blicky out on him. Like, they knock on the door, and she like, "Hey yo, what you guys doing here?" And my man Sanji, hold on, I'm about to bring this shit up first. Yeah, so she literally pulls the blicky on him. She was like, "Yo, man, what y'all doing here?" He's like, "Get off my porch, cuz. We bloods around here, cuz." And my man Sanji kind of like convinces her to be like he literally flirts with her base. He's like, "Okay, beautiful woman like you shouldn't be doing this. Maybe we could kind of discuss it over some food." She's like, "Can you cook?" And that's when Usopp, throw some pointers out for Sanji. There, he says like, "Oh, he's the best cook in the sea. You should really try his food. He can make food out of anything." And Nezuko's basically like, "Well, we don't have much food," and that's when Sanji was like, "You'd be surprised what I could do with a few ingredients." And so that's when she invites him in the house and they cook up some food. Before we continue, B, what you got for us?
I think it's just funny how hostile she was from the get go. Like straight up, like, all right, what you here for? And just barrel in the face. That's it. And you know what though? I think it made sense because they probably had fishermen, pirates always coming to their doors. Either them or Nami. and it already seemed like Nami wasn't like in well invited into the house that she
Mm-hmm.
grew up in.
And
So
so, oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
I just think I think Nami has never been back to the house that she was always in.
True.
Like you know how she where she had her treasure that she kept all like all saved up at.
She held it in these like close to their mother's burial site, pretty much next to her. Next to her.
Oh, okay. Because I thought in the anime they did it. It was in the tangerine orchard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, they went grave robbing. So yeah, I just found it kind of find kind of weird that she has never been back. Basically, never been back to where she grew up at. Never been back home.
Which makes sense on why she didn't want to go back, because this is where the change happened between the live action and the actual like anime and manga, where you guys are notice that Nozuko actually has tattoos, and she in the anime and the manga she got the tattoos because Nami has the sawfish tattoo on her arm that represent Arlong, and she got it. She got her tattoos to kind of make sure Nami feels better about her tattoos too. And in the live action, it's clearly kind of obvious that the whole village is against Nami.
Right.
But in the anime and the manga, yes, in front view the village is, but we actually do find out that the village is actually doing it to protect Nami in a way by pushing her out, saying like, "No, you don't come back here. We don't want you." But it's more so just to kind of keep Nami away to protect her. And and
I thought
again,
it was for her to save face.
more so to so I guess it's more so because they didn't like kind of talk to each other, whereas like they both trying to help each other out from what I can get.
Yeah.
Whereas like Nami, don't come back here. We don't want you because you turn your back on us. But it's to keep her strong. And but at this, I think yeah, same thing. Basically what you said, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pretty much saying make sure that she saved face because
Mm-hmm.
she didn't know that they knew, but all of them knew that what she was doing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So also, like you were saying, Nojiko having the tattoos. For
Mm-hmm.
me, in the live action, that makes no sense now at this point, other than just having
Exactly.
tattoos.
I think that was everybody's issue with. Yeah, it was like, what's the point of her having tattoos then? One, how does she fucking afford it?
Right? And you know what that just seems like to me right now?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like to me, oh great, another black person that got tattoos. Okay.
But the tattoos, like, I think they had to give it to her because
I mean, it was part of the design.
mm-hmm.
The same way Genzo has all those scars on him.
Cause like she has to have the tattoos. Like that's actually just part of her character.
Yeah, because
So
she do.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, because she look like anybody else.
Yeah, if you take away the tattoos, she just looks very basic. Cause I'm covering her like just showing like her neck and everything, and it's like yeah, she looks like a random background character.
Yeah, you come to find out that pretty much all One Piece females are have the same face. It's just different hairstyles and eye colors.
Honestly, well no, cause even the live action Ojiko actually kind of looks like the anime version too. Pointy chin.
You really just went for a pointy chin.
I mean, they got it. Slender neck, tattoos. They both got blue hair. Both got ribbons in their hair. Both looked angry.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, but that was like the first thing that I noticed that was a little bit different from the anime and manga was like the whole village was against Nami originally. Well, yeah, the whole village is against Nami in a live action compared to anime and the manga where they actually wasn't against her. And so now we cut back to the to the Baratier, and we see Garp eating steak. And let me backtrack again because when we go back to the first scene where Garp and them enter the Baratier, Zeph did ask Garp what type of like how does he want his steak, medium, well done, and he was like, I wanted medium, closer to the pinkish side, so kind of like almost damn near raw. Best way to put it.
Yep.
Which I also kind of noticed like that's exactly how Luffy likes his meat too in a way. Like any if you watch it like watch the like if you ever watch it in the anime when he's eating meat, the skin is crisp, but when he bites into it, it looks hella raw.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see Garp eating his steak here, and that's what I'm saying. Like it looks raw a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
No, let me see if I can pull this up so you guys can see it. I'm mad. I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead, B.
I just remember something from Gordon Ramsay. It's fucking raw. It just reminded me of that. That's
But
all.
do you think he would really say that to Zeph? I feel like
Oh,
Zeph would kick him.
no, Zeph would. Zeph would actually. Yeah, you're actually right. He probably would kick him.
You know what's crazy though? Now that I'm looking at Zeph, I could see that maybe they could have brought in Gordon Ramsay as Zeph for a little bit.
See.
Cause like he would have pulled it off. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna pull this one up and then where's Zeph at? There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Just give him the mustache and a little beard. He looks just like him.
Pretty much.
You know, I'm sorry, One Piece live action. Y'all actually kind of slightly dropped the ball on that one. You could have hired Gordon Ramsay as playing Zeph.
You sure could have.
So yeah, but they talking for a little bit, and what was their conversation about again? So they pretty much the conversation was best way to put it about Luffy in a way, but they was kind of using metaphors where it's like, let me see here. He said he took a choice, and yeah. So
I think
so
Zeph wasn't trying to give him away, right?
say again.
I said Zeph wasn't trying to give him away, right?
No, he wasn't trying to give up their location, but he was at the same time also trying to tell. Because I think Zeph knows, which I think that's another thing that I actually had to agree with you with on here was like, how does Zeph know that Luffy and Garp are related? Maybe just by the name.
Did he give? Did Monkey? Oh wait, he did.
Yeah, he
He
did say I'm
knows.
Monkey D. Luffy, and then the fact that he knows Garp by full name too, that makes kind of sense.
Yeah, so he just probably assumed that they were already related from the name. Because
True.
not too many people are named that altogether.
But yeah, so Garp is like pretty much like basically saying like how we were saying last time, like, oh, it's nice to see someone from the old days. He's like, yeah, it is, but yeah, these new but he's basically saying like this new generation are crazy, and I'm kind of rooting for them in a way. And Garp's not liking that because it's basically saying like Zeph is kind of giving Garp his approval of Luffy being a pirate, but you can tell Garp is not really feeling it here.
Of course not.
I will say though, I do like the fact that Bogart has more lines in this.
Oh, he only talks when he's needed, like to talk for
Yeah.
real. He's just like technically like if you have a rich person in the mansion, if that's
Mm-hmm.
the main character, then he would be the butler.
Yeah. True.
Yeah,
I mean, he already has that look to it. So
yeah, that's
then
true.
now we cut back to Arlong Park, which I like the way how this is slightly different compared to what the anime and manga had to show. This actually looks like a theme park in a way. Whereas like you got the gameplay, you got the pool right here. It's literally like party favors in the pool. And everybody's just having fun. And that's when Nami walks up to Arlong, and she basically is trying to tell Arlong like, "Hey, we need to talk." Well, no, she's giving Arlong the pretty much the tax fees from Kokoyashi Village, and that's when we got the iconic scene of actually instead of doing it, I'll just screenshot it.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a dope ass scene. So we finally get the dope ass scene of how black Arlong actually is. I'll be honest with you, I will go party there.
You would go party at Arlong Park.
Yep.
I
Would you? Like if you know your life wasn't on the line, he just invited you just to come party with him, would you?
maybe.
Especially with
You-
that speech he says at the end, I was like, you know what, I get it.
I think you have to be careful because if you like, I don't know, you do one wrong thing and you could mess up with Fishman.
You're right, but I think if it's like, because we know how we are when it comes to parties, like we know for a fact we're not going to gamble, so we're fine with that. So it's not like we're not going to chip people out their money. Like we're just there to drink and stuff and like just have fun. So I think they'll be cool with that.
Oh, mommy said she would be down to enjoy herself.
Exactly. Listen, I'm going to Arlong Park. We're gonna go party with a fisherman. So yeah, Arlong, like Nami walks up to Arlong. She's gonna hand him the taxes from Kokoyashi Village, and she was like, "We need to talk about our deal." And then this is when we're gonna get like the information about the deal that Arlong and Nami has, which we'll probably just say it now, because since we kind of already fast forward about a few other things too. But the deal was, she has to get 100 million berries to buy back Kokoyashi Village from Arlong. And I believe berries are equivalent to the Japanese yen.
Yeah.
Dollar to yen. So it's 100 million. So one, two, which that is roughly just pretty much $67,000. What can we buy with $6,700,000? Be
Are you reading that right? Hold on.
yeah. Yeah, it's 100,000 Japanese yen. Yep. So I'm just kind of rounded off the number. It's actually 66800. Oh wait, wow.
1,000.
Thank you. 668,628.
Okay.
But I'm just rounding off to $6,700,000.
Okay.
So that's roughly what that is. What can we
Was
buy
that
with that money?
a really expensive house?
I'll be honest. I'll probably buy like $100,000 house and just kind of rock with that, or maybe a $50,000 house, maybe an $80,000 house, me in the middle.
But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I can think of. House, car, pay off any of your debts. That's it. And whatever money you have left over, you just play with.
Let's see here. Let's see. So roughly $100,000 house looks kind of like these. That's terrible. Oh,
That
that's
depends
under.
where you're. No, that depends where you're at.
All right, so let's go to L.A. Los Angeles, California. For sale.
For sale up to 100,000.
Apply. Dad, that's ass.
There's only two. Wow.
So this is close to $100,000 in LA.
There is no way that's $100,000.
94,000.
That is so
2 bedroom, 2 bath.
It don't look it.
All right, so apparently there's some condo spaces for $100,000 out there. I don't know. They're not telling us a lot. Ain't too bad. I could rock this.
And so if you bought a condo, you'd be all right with that.
I'll be alright with this.
Huh? Actually, you know what? I probably would too for a little while. But
Yeah, like I'm not too picky with my shit. Like as long as I got a roof over my head, I'm happy. All right, so back to it. All right, so that's when we see this little rat dude walk up. What's his name?
Oh, I don't even know. You call him Rat Man.
Nezumi is his name. So Nezumi comes up, this guy right here, and he pretty much tells Arlong like, "Hey, yo, what you doing is kind of being a little bit more difficult for us to hide the shit. Because the best way to put it, Arlong is paying off this guy here. This is what he looks like in live action. He's paying him off to kind of like protect them, like for the Marines to protect Arlong and his crew. So it's pretty much like kind of give us an example of shady corporations, best way to put it, or like shady
Corruption.
corruption. Yep, there we go. Corruption in the military force or the police force. Whereas like if you as long as you have enough money, you can pretty much buy their services. And that's what pretty much this guy's there for. He's pretty much telling Arlong like, we need more money if you want our protection. And Arlong was like, all right, come meet with me upstairs then. And so they follow him upstairs, but then we cut back to, Luffy and the gang, and they're talking with Nezuko, not Nezuko, Nojiko. There we go. I'm getting better with it. So they're talking with Nojiko because after Sanji made the food for them, they're talking. She's, giving us background number 3 on Nami. There was a lot of backgrounds in this. But this part takes place right in the middle of the raid of Arlong on the Kokoyashi village, where Bellemere hides Nojiko and Nami in pretty much like the basement part of their house, and she holds a gun up to the door, but then Arlong charges in, and he catches her before she shoots the gun, and he pretty much gives her the price, whereas like it's 10,000 berries per adult, 5,000 berries per child. And so Bellemere reaches over, grabs her berries. Arlong's about to walk out, and then he noticed, which I should get a screenshot of this. Hold up. We gotta wait for it to disappear first. There we go. So, because I'm going to use this one instead. So, you can see here that there's 3 plates on here. So like after Bellemere gives Arlong the money so he can leave, he noticed that there's 3 plates, 3 cups on the table, and he was like, "How many people live here?" And so he turns to his homie Kaboji, and Kaboji has a list of each person in the village, which I'm surprised that they never added Nami and Nezuko to the group, but that is
They're
what
still
it is.
children.
That's true.
I think they couldn't be part of the consensus just yet.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
So,
And plus, they didn't. They plus they weren't technically. Well, you like we said, they were found. You
mm,
know, they were born. They were probably born somewhere on the island,
mm,
but just never fully inducted as part of the village.
yeah, at least not yet, basically.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Arlon was like, "Well, why is there three plates here?" And he's about to shoot Belmir, and that's when Belmir just, which I'm kind of like, you could have still lied about it. Maybe you could have just said I had friends over at the time. They got away with it, but no, she just flat said, "I got two kids. What you gonna do about it?" And then that's what he said. That's when Arlon says, 10,000 berries per adult, 5,000 berries per kid. And that's when
You know,
Nojiko,
she couldn't. I think she had a reason for not lying at that point, though,
why is that?
because she would. She just had her fight with Nami.
Mm
At least I remember this from the anime, because she had her fight with Nami, and basically, I think she had slapped Nami or whatever,
hmm. Mm
and that's something that I don't think she's ever done to her.
hmm.
And Nami said, "You're not my mother." So that was the whole point. I think that was the whole argument. Nami ran off or something like that.
Mm hmm.
Then when she came back, then that's when Arlong and them, uh, raided, and then I think she was making a point by saying, "I have two daughters," and basically saying that she is their mother, even though that she knew she was going to die in the process. I
That's
think it was just
true.
a point. Yeah, I think it was just a point to be made. That's all.
That's true, because she didn't try and hide them in the anime and the manga, though.
I think she did. I think they just weren't that well hidden.
Said, oh, cool. Orange hair chick and a blue hair chick just randomly poked their heads out. Not
Yeah,
hard to
pretty
find them.
much.
But yeah, so this is the scene here where Kaboji's like, yeah, man, they only got this many people here in his household, and Arlon looks down at the place, just like, how many people actually live here? But then that's when Noju, actually, cool. I clicked on the right scene of what I wanted to see. Well, say actually. So then that's when Noji, like you can see that Nojiko and Nami are behind Bellamere because they run out from the basement because they thought their mother was about to die, and that's where Arlon basically says, 10,000 per adult, 5,000 per human, and that's when Nojiko says, "That's all the money I have, but can you take the money as tribute for my daughters?" Basically saying like I'm about to lay my life down for them to have a future to grow up, and that's where Arlon was like, "All right, cool." And I'm not going to show this part because it's hella sad. Oh no, I can show this part here. But you can see now Nojiko is not Nojiko, Bellamere is comforting Nojiko and Nami. Basically they applying that mommy's gonna go away for a while now. Y'all gotta watch out for each other. Make sure y'all don't hurt. And basically she gets killed. Like not like dragged. She don't even get dragged away to a different location. No, right on the spot, Arlong pulls a gun out and just like, all right, peace. And so, yeah, and that's what happens. Like that's how Bellamere dies. And that's when we cut back to the present day, and that's where we fin like. But if we notice that Nojiko is the one telling the story here, and because Usopp says, so wait, Nami's working for pirates that killed your mother, because they're all kind of like trying to question like, why is she working with the person who killed her mother? Which we do find out, but I think Luffy is the one who kind of pieces it all together, as in like maybe she's just doing it for the village or something like that. Because it's never like they never really like told the Straw Hats the reason why, but I like to think that maybe Luffy just kind of figured.
Well, he already was it him that said it? Yeah, he already assumed that like, all right, she's being forced into it or somehow, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So this kind of just linked it all together for him anyway.
Mm. And so Luffy, after the story's over, Luffy gets up and goes to the roof of the house, and he's like kind of looking up. And B, I'm gonna ask you this because Zoro follows him, and he goes to talk to Luffy to kind of like question him on a few things. Not really question, but kind of pick his brain. And it made me think of what Nami said to Zoro, saying like you're basically his first mate. Like what was it? What scene it was in? It was right after the fight with Garp's crew, the Navy battle, and that's when Nami was like, "You're his basically his first mate. You got to go comfort him and figure out what's gone wrong." And in this scene, Zoro does that after Luffy gets up from after being told what happened to Nami, like how she became who she is, and why is Arlong taking over the village and all that. Do you kind of agree with that one there?
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with that.
or maybe Zoro just like, "Well, I am the first mate. Let me go see what's going on," because no one else got up but him.
Well, yeah, I think Zoro has to be the main one to notice anything
Mm-hmm.
because he's technically the first. I mean, yeah, he is the first mate, but he was like the first crewmate, the first member.
Mm-hmm.
So he technically should know Luffy the longest.
Even
But
though in the live action, him and Nami pretty much met him together.
yeah, I was about to say, but that reason, but in the anime, it makes a lot more sense. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
is supposed to be like a brotherly type of relationship between them two,
Mm-hmm.
at least in understanding anyway.
And then that's when Luffy at like he like Zoro pretty much asked Luffy is like, so how you feeling about all this? Like, how you feeling? And then Luffy says, I'm just tired of hearing about Nami from other people. He wants to hear from her mouth directly. Which I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, which is kind of like basically like if you hear rumors about people, make sure you just get it from the direct source instead of just going based off of what other people say. More of the
Yeah.
story. So now that's when we see Ratman. I'm gonna start just call him Ratman. So then that's when we see Ratman and Arlong. Like they meet in the room that they chain Nami up in. You see Nami in the background, all that, and that's when Ratman is pretty much laying down. We want more money from you if you want our protection continuously because you're doing way too much for us to keep hiding your shit. And what is it? Arlong was actually about to agree with him until the guy says, "Oh, I'm surprised you're actually smart." And that kind of flipped a switch in Arlong's face, like in Arlong's head, where it's like, this is when we kind of like get some lore dump, where we find out that fishmen were not always treated equally as regular humans in the One Piece world. And it was actually only just recently that they was granted status to be considered as equals in the One Piece world. And because even that they have a fishman on that joins the Seven Warlords. Because remember we found out last episode who the Warlords are because we meet Mihawk, and then this we get another lore dump where there's a fishman who's also one of the Seven Warlords. And Arlong says Jinbei is a fool. And if you guys don't know who Jinbei is, this is who he is. But he's the goat.
Spelled his name wrong.
I was close, but this is Jinbei here. What I kind of hope if my theory is correct, that I feel like the One Piece live action is just gonna go all the way up to Marineford and just kind of end it there. That means we are going to meet Jinbei then, because Jinbei shows up kind of close to the end of the water. Not end of the water, but he shows up at the start of the water.
He shows up.
Because doesn't he fight Ace and they both get locked up and impaled down?
Mm,
No, because no,
no,
Blackbeard
he's already
take
impaled down.
yeah. What's his reason for being in there though?
Uh, he was refusing something. I
Hmm.
think it has something to do with the warlord system because he was a warlord for what you call it, Fishman Island.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
I think he was refusing to do a certain order. Oh, he was refusing to be part of Ace's execution,
Mm-hmm.
like to follow the summits.
Because he has respect for Ace. Because they was fighting for so long.
I think yeah, and I think they said that was a insubordination. So all right, if you don't follow the rules, we're gonna lock you up, basically.
True. So that shows that there's a connection there between that there's more of a connection there between Fishman and the world government there. But again, back to what I was saying here, where Arlong kind of like he flips out on Ratman about like he's basically calling me stupid here, and he says that Fishman has gone through like slavery abolishment in the pre justice remains still, whereas like people still in the One Piece world look at Fishman kind of with the side eye a little bit, like kind of like I don't know, we should trust these scaly folks. And he kind of flips out on him, and Ratman gets a little scared. And he almost looks like he's about to pee his pants. Because I'm gonna take this scene here, right here.
Well, Ratman's supposed to be a coward in general.
Yeah, he's a rat. That's literally what he is. He's a rat. And so Ratman is so scared that he gives back the money because Arlong again, like I said, was actually about to agree with him. Was like, okay, we'll give you more money for your protection. And because he opened his big fat mouth, basically calling Fishman stupid, which, nah. So B, let me ask this: when he said, "Oh, so you are intelligent," well, do you think he was referring to just Arlong himself or just Fishman as a whole, and Arlong just kind of took it out of the place? I think he was just talking to Arlong personally, like he was like, "Oh, maybe he just thought Arlong himself was stupid."
Like if he was talking to, eh, all right, if he wasn't talking to a fishman, I probably would say, all right, he's talking to Arlong and just in general.
Mm,
But he's dealing with a whole group of fishmen, so he probably thought they were all brutes, the same way in the regular world we would say Neanderthals, you know.
mm,
So I think he was just, I think he meant that in the species type of way.
mm. Okay.
Yeah, just basically being racist or I don't know. Uh, what's the word? I don't
Prejudice.
know. Yeah, there we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Nice. So yeah, and so because you can see like originally like Arlong was going to give him about that much of the stack of money, but because he asked for double the money, he gave him the rest of the stacks. But now that Arlong kind of flipped out on him, he's about to hand him back the money. He hands him back all the money. He's just like, okay, we'll still protect you. Because I'm scared of you, type deal. That's where Arlong was like, he flips the line on him. He's like, I guess you're not stupid after all. So I'm like, yo, shout out to Arlong for that one there. I'll be honest with you, man. Arlong is like, he's possibly my favorite, one of my favorite characters in this whole series.
I wonder if they're going to keep him like as a thing even after he gets locked up, or like just like never speak about him again. Like just like in well, they speak about him again, but like he never makes a main appearance. Like he's always locked up in jail.
I hope he comes back pretty soon too in the anime in the manga too.
Yeah, I was wondering that he's ever going to make a comeback because I feel like all right, certain people, like certain people you've heard of, like they Luffy beats or the Straw Hats beat, and you don't hear about some of them. But
Mm-hmm.
other people, like they get beaten up, locked up, or sent flying somewhere, and they seem to always come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like who was it? Buggy's a prime example because he's made a Yonko now.
Yeah,
So Buggy's there. Crocodile's actually with him.
exactly.
Uh, Enel is going to make a big comeback pretty soon if he follows his cover story.
And oh, the electricity guy.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you ever read his cover story, he actually makes it to the moon, but all the stuff that's on the moon kind of actually is about to play a big importance in what's going to happen pretty soon in the manga.
Uh,
Yeah. Who else
okay.
was there?
How the hell did he make it to the moon? You know what? Never mind.
The Arc Maxim.
I understand that, but that thing can only should only be able to fly so high. Like the moon is far.
But you're thinking of our moon and close to how it is to our Earth, but theory, I think the One Piece Earth like world is actually like double our size.
So what? You think the moon is literally like what? Maybe a third away compared to like our real world?
Possibly. And plus also they have more than one moon in the One Piece world.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure they only have one moon.
No, remember when we had Robin's flashback? If you pay attention to the background, there was a solar system in the background and you see the One Piece world, but then you also see a bunch of moons.
I thought those were other planets that were
Mm,
close to it, not moons.
nah, the moons.
I'm gonna need somebody to clarify that one because those moons have names. Then
Possibly. And if you also look at it too, theory here, like Dr. Vegapunk has 7 satellites.
yeah,
If you count so if you say this is Dr. Vegapunk right here as the main planet, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planets around it. And he calls them satellites. And the moon's pretty much a natural satellite for a planet.
uh, I feel like that's going too deep into it. But you know what?
Oh,
I
here
would
it
just
is.
have to wait to see.
That's a better example because the picture I was showing you didn't give it a best look, but here it is. This is what the manga panel looked like. And you can see the red line right here going across it. So that's how you know that's the One Piece Earth. And clearly this has to be moons around it.
But whenever you look up, they don't ever show the moon. They don't ever show multiple moons. They show one moon.
Maybe it can be one of those situations where you can only see one moon at a time, depending on the location of the Earth that you're in.
I'm looking at the globe, like the manga panel,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, so looking at it, at least three moons would be visible if you're looking at it, like from one place, like a few places actually.
Maybe we're just looking too deep into it though, because this is just like a planetary thing, like one of those like model things.
Yeah, but then that leaves my question: if there are other moons and there are missing moons, like that picture is saying, does that mean someone destroyed the moons?
It was Piccolo.
What's it got to? No, I would assume that means somebody as powerful as Emu probably had like a weapon to do it. You know what I mean?
The Planet Buster, well, the Island Buster.
Yeah, like something like I don't know. I would say if those are One Piece's moons,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like someone destroyed a few moons
Possibly. I
or
wouldn't be
moved them.
surprised.
Yeah.
All right, we'll worry. Yeah, so Ratman gives Arlong back the money. And then that's when Nami questions Arlong again, like, hey yo, can we talk about our deal then? And then that's when Nami was like, well, Arlong was like, oh, you talking about the $100 million berry deal? He was like, yeah. She was like, yeah. She's like, oh, so you've been holding out on me, Nami. Nami was like, no, I've been stealing the money fair and square. I'm going to buy back the village. And so that's when Arlong says, all right, cool. We can make we can finish off the deal. Just bring me the money at sunrise. And Nami seems happy about it. She's like, all right, I get to get my family back. So she walks away. And that's when Arlong calls over Kurobi and just like, so maybe the rat dude can be useful after all, which is also kind of implying saying like, send him to follow Nami and figure out where that money is, so I can get the money and still have control over the village, which kind of happens in the anime and the manga too, in a way.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I think what he did was said, "All right, you want your double the money? You gotta
Mm-hmm.
go follow it. Follow Nami and go get it."
Mm-hmm. There
So
you go.
he, yeah. So I think he just gave. I say, "All right, you want your money? You gotta go follow Nami and figure out where the money's at."
True.
That's what I think he just did. That's what he made Ratman useful for.
Rat Man.
Oh God.
So we cut back over to Briate and we have best main character B and side character B2, Kobe and Helmeppo. And they kind of sneak off while Garp and Zeph are having a conversation. And Kobe questions Helmeppo like, "Oh, what are you doing? We're supposed to be on duty." And he's like, "Well, I'm buying you a drink." And he buys him the drinks and everything like that. And he starts to question Kobe like, "Hey yo, so what's going on with Garp?" And he kind of Kobe kind of like immediately spills the beans. Where it's like Garp is Luffy's granddad, and he just takes two shots. And then Kobe also kind of asks Helmeppo like, "Well, maybe the Straw Hats aren't the villains here. Maybe the Marines are making them out to be," which kind of really starts to imply that, again, the Straw Hats, even though yes they are pirates, they're not like the typical pirates. They're like, I just want to have my freedom type pirates. That's all they are. Like they're willing to still pay you if they eat at your restaurant. They're not going to raid your village or anything like that. And and that's what Kobe's kind of thinking about there. And Helmeppo thinks he's just drunk for thinking that way, but nah, Kobe's kind of like really pointing it out. Like that's just not. I don't think that's just how it is now. Like there could be probably bad Marines and good Marines, just like how there's bad pirates and good pirates. What you think of that scene, B?
I think you're right. It's like sort of seeing like two different ways of viewing the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think it's also just weird that just he just straight out blurted out like he couldn't even hold the secret for like an hour.
He a lightweight.
Like literally, he drank like you say he took two shots and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me spill my guts and let me spill everything that's on my chest.
Honestly, he was like, here, he literally took two shots and then he didn't even let that shit settle. He just straight up said, they're related.
Like that's just crazy to me. You shouldn't be you like if you're going to be a marine, you shouldn't be giving up your secrets that easily.
Nah. I mean, it's Kobe though. He didn't have his glow up phase yet. And then
I
so go ahead. He
and I guess that's true. Go ahead.
didn't have his glow up phase yet. So now we cut back over to, sorry for yawning. I'm tired a little bit. Just got off of work like before doing this. Oh wow, it's been 2 hours since I've been off of work. Nice. Wait, 3 hours. So now we cut back over to Garp and Zeph, and that's when Zeph is really like hammering in on Garp, where it's like, no matter how many times you try and capture Luffy, he's going to say be true to who he is. And he was about to, and he's literally going to tell Garp like, he kind of reminds me of a certain pirate that you and I know. And Garp was like, "Please don't say his name. I know who you about to say." Which even that kind of to me, I feel like that even Garp knows that Luffy kind of reminds him of Gold. Well, in this case, Gold Roger,
Oh yeah, that's kind of true.
because then Zeph actually says, "Well, I'm gonna say it anyway." He reminds us of Gold Roger, and then that's when Garp was like, "Ah, darn it, you said the name." So what you
Well,
say?
yeah, it was actually true. Like even you can see, like you can even see it based off certain people's. Well, in the anime and mangas, you could tell from certain people's flashbacks of Gold Roger,
Mm-hmm.
and then certain ways that Luffy acted, like
Mm-hmm.
being carefree, always going for the adventure, never being afraid, like
Mm-hmm.
just jumping straight into whatever situation they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could tell that they both saw that Luffy was definitely going to be like Gold Roger.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and it was their way of like secretly inferring it. Like if Luffy is not Luffy is it going to be most likely like Gold Roger. That's pretty much how they piecing it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then they were trying to also piece together the fact that Luffy was. This is a whole big spoiler. That Luffy was a Joy Boy because of the way he also acted like Gold Roger. Like
Mm-hmm.
If Gold Roger wasn't Joy Boy, then Luffy had to be Joy Boy because of the always wanting to adventure and always having their own freedom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, freedom was the main thing. So yeah, they were both definitely the same.
So do you believe that Gold Roger is Joy Boy of that generation?
He has to be only without the fruit. If he ate the fruit, I believe have he would have awakened it
Mm-hmm. Like
because
cause I believe
yeah,
that there was a Gold Roger, like not Gold Roger. I believe that there was a Joy Boy of every generation, but it's just that it has to be certain things in place for it to actually like for the prophecy to come true, and that's just happened to be Luffy's generation.
I think Gold Roger, right? We just said was his generation's Joy Boy, but I think since every generation had, like you said, if every generation has a Joy Boy,
Mm-hmm.
I think that generation's Joy Boy has to set up for the next generation's Joy Boy, depending on if whoever finds the fruit. You know what I mean?
You're right. So like so then because we have to figure out that we're gonna have to be told who kind of influenced Roger to go out to sea.
Oh, that's true. They never tell us that, do they?
Mm-mm. Right, we have to get a Roger flashback too, like as he when he was a kid type deal.
Yeah, because we know he came from Logtown.
Mm-hmm. Like, well, we
But
know is that he came from Locktown. He was the original owner of the Straw Hat. Which now that we know that there's another Straw Hat sitting somewhere underground in Muizra, but it's too big. So
that
maybe.
belongs to the original Joy Boy.
So here's my theory. Well, not my theory, but just someone said, what if that area that Nika went, not Nika, Emu went into? Spoiler alerts. This is all just spoilers.
Yeah,
The area that Nika went into, not Nika,
Emu.
Emu went into, it seems really cold in there, right? And it's not my theory. This is someone else's theory. But he's like, it's really cold in there. So what if that's like a freezer? And like the Straw Hat we're looking at is the original Joy Boys, but what if like every Joy Boy from every generation was in there,
So
like
you're
being
saying
frozen?
what? So you're saying what if Emu found every generation of Joy Boy
Mm-hmm.
and had them arrested or hunted down by the world government, which is probably why they went after Roger because he was that generation's Joy Boy,
Mm-hmm.
and basically captured them, either killed or captured them alive and threw them in that freezer.
Yep. Cause where's Roger's body at?
I'm assuming they just You know what? I would say it's still in Logtown.
But when Luffy, instead of going to go see where he got executed, when he go see his grave,
Well, the world government would have never. They would have had an unmarked grave for him, wouldn't they?
we don't know. Cause Whitebeard got like when he got a grave. Ace gonna die, but he got a grave.
But that's because. But they weren't executed. What does the Marines do with the executed bodies?
Well, technically, Ace was executed. It just took a little bit longer, but he was eventually killed by Marine.
Yeah, but his body was recovered. Remember, Shanks showed up and stopped the war. That means the Whitebeard pirates can take uh, Whitebeard and Ace's body, even though Blackbeard took Whitebeard's ability from him already. Like they could take the bodies from the battlefield and bury the dead. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
But what if they use that storage unit for all the Joy Boys though, like the
If
Marines
they,
do?
I don't know, but that hat being in there, I believe that's if nothing else, I believe that's where the original Joy Boy was being held.
That
And
I will agree with you on that one. I think that is the original Joy Boy in there.
yeah, if nothing else, I feel like he's either still in there, alive, like you said, frozen, or his skeleton is somewhere in there, and it's just he was just being preserved for as long as possible for some reason.
Like kind of how like Moria did with Wars.
Yeah,
True, true. Alright. No spoilers, no spoilers. I think everybody's like, oh no, spoilers. Alright,
uh,
so now we go back to the present day, and Nami is digging next to her mother's grave, like how we discussed originally. And we found out the reason why. She's because that's where she buried her money at, the $100 million berries. And Nojiko comes in, and this really like kind of settles in that okay, Nojiko didn't know that Nami was doing all this for the village because she was like, really, you kept all your money next to our mother's grave, and then that's where Nami finally explains to her like, I wasn't doing it, like I only did this for y'all, like this is the money to buy back the village, and it's applied in the because we get a fourth flashback, hella flashbacks in this episode, and this is right after Arlong took over the village, and that Nami walks in and she's like, "Hey, I have something you want." And Arlong's like, "Well, what does a little kid have that I want?" And that's when she shows him that she can draw maps pretty accurately. And that's when we see that the fact that she drew out the Komi Islands where she's from, like that's the whole the major island she's from. It's just that the villages that she's living in is on that island, but the island itself is uh Komani Islands. And so here's what it looks like, and it's really detailed. So you really see like all the mountains and everything here, names, uh, different sunrise sets, all that there. And Arlong is impressed. B, what you think so far?
I think it's actually pretty impressive. Yeah, it's pretty impressive for what a kid can do.
Right?
Um, could because uh, like a kid should not be able to do this. Like this looks like I don't know. Like this something like looks like something like a high schooler would be able to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she is technically what supposed to be in elementary.
Yeah, I think how old is Kid Nami?
Yeah, like if a little kid be able to draw maps way better than any adult that
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, you're gonna have to take this kid under your wing, or in this case, manipulate her in some way so that you can benefit from this,
I would say she's
especially if you're Arlong.
yeah, I would say she's like 7, 8 years old in this. But yeah, I agree with you. That's pretty impressive. The fact that she can draw a detailed map of an island, which I'm pretty sure she probably had to like. She probably didn't travel all over this island, because that's what she typically does now. Like when to map out an island, she will actually travel all over the island to get like, different landmarks and all that to apply into it. But remember, she was drawing in a book. Like she was using a book as reference, and she probably hand drew it directly from the book. And Arlong is impressed with it. Like she's got like every detail correctly, which is
So
really
that means
good.
she memorized it.
Yep. And so that's when Arlong's like, "All right, kid, you can join my crew." And then that's when we get the scene of the two sisters sitting together. Nojiko pretty much is like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for everything. I didn't even realize that you was doing all this for us, and I feel like a total dick now for getting mad at you." And then, was it Ratman appears and just like, "Oh, so this is where the treasure's at." And he takes the treasure for her, and but it's like, at first I had a problem with the scene because like it was implied that Nami can fight, but then again she's also like getting held down by like two Marine officers, so that's probably why too.
Uh, well, no, because I can't. Again, that's like a plot armor type thing. Like because when they raided when Nami, Luffy, and Zoro all first met up when they were at Axeman of Morgan's
Mm-hmm.
base, you saw that she took on multiple Marines,
Yeah, but
and
she also
the
had her
fact
staff too, so
you don't think she has a shovel here,
you're right.
but you know what? Whatever. If the shovel ain't good enough for as a bow staff, then I guess it ain't.
I mean, yeah, shovel would be kind of heavier to swing around than a bow staff.
Maybe so, but she can still swing it around.
You're right.
And what's her name had a gun. I don't understand. Like there's multiple weapons she could have used.
Yeah, that was my issue. I'm like, come on, y'all literally just let the treasure walk away.
Pretty much.
And then, honestly, I would actually say this is my favorite scene because I was very worried on how they was gonna handle Nami's like scenes where it's like she loses the treasure, Luffy, she asks for Luffy's help and all that, and it's actually handled really, really well in my opinion. Honestly, I would say if I were to choose between the anime and the live action, of course I would choose the anime first, then the live action. But it was done pretty well, like really, really well. So it's like they take the treasure and Nami's like pissed off because it's like, yo, she basically cannot buy back her village now. She lost everything. She can't do anything. It is actually, I ain't gonna lie. After the second watch, I was still kind of like slightly heartbroken because I was like, yo, she really can't pay back the village after all that hard work. B, what you think of that? Do you think that she did a dope, like the actor or actress did a pretty good job with this scene here?
Yes, I actually do. Like the only thing that you had to portray in this scene was heartbreak and betrayal
Mm-hmm.
because she was betrayed by Arlong from their deal, and that was the one thing that they should have been agreed upon, even if it was like morals, actions, or whatever they would have done differently.
Mm-hmm.
More like dealing with money is something that Nami was always all about. A
Mm-hmm.
deal, no matter what, a deal is still a deal. But she got cheated out of her deal by Arlong because she knew that Ratman had no idea as to why to follow her to know that she had the money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she knew it had to be Arlong. And she knew it was at this exact time right before I had to deliver the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she knew she got betrayed. So
Yep.
that was definitely portrayed perfectly for that.
So then after this scene, got two more after this one. This is where we get the iconic speech from Arlong, which I'll be honest. The first time I saw this, I really wasn't 100% paying attention to it. But then when I went back for a couple rewatches, I was like, all right, you know what? B, I'm not gonna say this. Like, I'm only gonna say this part. I'm not gonna say who it's from just yet. But 10 Toes Down,
Oh my god.
10 Toes Down,
10 toes down with who? With
Arlong,
who?
Arlong,
Oh my god.
10 Toes Down with Arlong. I get it.
I'm so done.
10 Toes Down with Arlong.
Oh my god. That 10 toes down.
So for all y'all know, you actually have to wait until November 11th to understand what 10 Toes Down is. That's all I'm gonna say. You just gotta wait till November 11th. But B knows I'm 10 toes down with Arlo.
I'm so done.
All
All
be,
right. So you gonna stick? That means you with Arlong all the way until the end, right?
I mean, with this speech, yeah.
The
Because
speech is what got you.
it's the speech that got me. Because I'm gonna go word for word with this speech. He said, "All you know was that all was that we all know the truth of this world." No, he's pausing. Fishmen are the rightful rulers of the sea, and humans know it too. They fear our power, so they bound us with chains. They loathe our presence, so they ban us from their cities. But we broke those chains, huh? Like that's a question. Like so we broke those chains. We built our own cities, and now it's time to restore the natural order of this world.
So Arlong, Malcolm X.
Listen, Arlo was a goat for that one. I was like, 10 toes down.
All right, I'll go. I'll let you go with that one.
He says, for centuries, humans have used us, kept us down, and our so-called leaders, they allow it. Banners of unity and peace they so lovingly wave are in truth flags of surrender, willing defeat. He said, I don't know about you, but I ain't suffering.
Uh, so with that speech, that's what you going with.
Listen, he was kind of spitting facts on that, though. He
If
was
you a
like,
fish man, yes.
if I was a fisherman, I'm joining his side, 10 toes down.
If you're a fish man, it would have made total sense. It really would have. But then you had to realize there are humans who can beat down fishmen.
That's true, but I think that's just the general population of their world. It's not like as strong as a fishman.
I mean, of course, the general population of the world is not as strong as fishmen, but there are humans like if any humans can beat down certain fishermen, I would say it's famous pirates.
Yep.
Famous pirates and well-known Marines, and I would say that would be captain level Marines.
I was actually about to disagree with you on the captain level until I realized, oh wait, Kobe's a captain, and I think Kobe's now strong enough to handle some shit by himself.
Yeah, because he can use two or three of the I don't know the official martial arts name, so I'm gonna call it the CP nine CP zeros techniques.
What do they call it? CP zero
I,
techniques. What are
yeah,
they called?
it's like seven techniques or something like that.
The Rokushiki techniques. Yep.
Yeah,
It's a Frogo, Soro, Jabra. Oh wait, no, that's the names of the people. I just realized that. So it's Geppo, which is the Skywalk,
Okay.
Teke, Take, Rankyu, Soru. No, Soru is the Skywalk. Shinigami and a Kami Kamui. And then there's the last one, which is the Roku Rogun.
Okay.
But yeah,
But
Kobe.
yeah.
Yeah, Kobe can use it because he's under the list of that he can use all six except for the Roku Rogun, which I won't even be surprised if he even knows that.
Nah, I don't think he's to that level. I think if he learns that, he'll be to the level of what's vice admiral at least.
Yeah, but Rob Lucci, I don't think. I think Kobe's stronger than Rob Lucci now.
Rob Lucci, nah, Rob Lucci at this point awakened his devil fruit.
But who did Kobe just beat though?
Uh, I don't know.
Like
Kobe
he,
can. I know
like
Kobe can take out Sea Kings now.
yeah, but then he beat one of the members of the Blackbeard Pirates for a hot minute.
Oh, I don't know which one that was. But what level would you call the Blackbeard Pirates?
I would say the Blackbeard Pirates are well in terms. I'm just gonna go based off of Straw Hats. I would say Kobe will be around where Sanji's at.
Okay,
Maybe
so
Sanji might be
that's
slightly stronger than him.
I'm about to say Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy are their strongest members, other than maybe Jinbei.
See, because I had a conversation with my coworker about this too, and because he was like, "Is Sanji like?" He was like, "Do I think Sanji is stronger than Jinbei?" And I said, off of my personal, I would say Sanji and Jinbei are about equal, but Sanji's eventually going to get stronger because I feel like Jinbei's at his peak right now.
I think Jinbei. The only way Jinbei gets any stronger is with
Roku
I,
Rogan.
oh my god, stop. Is like a like some leveling up version of hockey, but you saw what he did to Who's Who. He covered his whole body in what you call it in hockey.
He didn't even like he didn't. His fight with Who's Who wasn't even that like he wasn't even struggling in that fight.
Nah, he really destroyed him. That was disrespectful. He was like, "I'm done with you now. I'm tired of playing with you."
Yeah, like that. He essentially was just playing with him. He's like, okay. Like honestly, Oda was kind of using Who's Who as just a lore dump. That's why he kind of kept the fight going.
I think so because that's literally because Who's Who was the one who had Luffy's Devil Fruit. So I
Oh,
think that's the only reason why.
because I was gonna say like yeah, because King is, like Queen is way stronger than Who's Who, but again we just already established that Jinbei wasn't struggling with Who's Who at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Where
And
everybody, I will say everybody else out of Jinbei, like when they like everybody who had like a major fight in Wano, Jinbei was probably the only one who was not struggling. Because Zoro was basically next to dead. Sanji passed out after his fight. Frankie, well, Frankie didn't. He didn't take no physical damage, but his
General
Frank,
Frank
yeah, his general Frankie took all the damage. Robin took a good amount of hits.
Chopper's
Chopper didn't
in a
really. Chopper was
not
just kind of yeah. He wasn't really fighting anybody. Like he was just kind of holding off Queen for a little bit, but that was about it.
yeah, but remember he got into a weakened state after that.
Yeah, so that's true. But that's a side effect of the Rumble Balls, though.
But he did it twice, didn't he? Because
Hmm.
he's like in a like some type of baby state. After he was like it's like a it wasn't his usual weakened state. It was like a real baby state. Like I don't know.
Then it's because he take two rumble balls or just one, right?
Oh yeah, it was too.
Yeah, he took two rumble balls, and that's why it kind of made him like that. Like
He
it
said
was
it could
a
possibly kill him.
yeah, it was his baby Gramps chopper stage where he was
Yes.
a baby, but he talks like an old man.
Hmm.
Who else was there? Robin. Oh no, Nami. She did take out.
She fought Uti.
Yeah, she fought Uti, but I mean, she came out relatively unscathed. Not really unscathed because she did kind of get her ass kicked, but it was Big Mom who really took out Ulti,
That's true.
and then Big Mom
But
also took out what's bro's name? Her brother.
that's also
Page
true.
one. So yeah,
Uh,
out of all the Straw Hats, Jinbei was the only one who actually really realistically came out unscathed. Like yeah, there was other people who came out unscathed, but they didn't really like fight. Like Jinbei was just kind of like, I just want to end this quickly, and he did.
yeah,
He's like,
that's
I don't
actually
want to
true.
fight this guy anymore.
I think nah, he pissed. He just pissed off Jinbei. He's like, I'm so done with you now. Like all your talking is meaningless.
Honestly. So then, who would we say that then? So I would say if we were to put Kobe scale into the Straw Hats, I would put him right beneath Sanji, but like he's like right on his ass type deal.
Yeah, I think you actually have to be right about that because if Kobe went against the Straw Hats 101, any of them, I feel
Like we were
the most
going, like
I
we
feel like the
go.
most intense fight would be with yeah, Sanji or Jinbei. Can't do Zoro exactly because I feel like Zoro will cut straight through him.
And then Luffy
And
would just want to punch him again.
exactly
It's like,
like
cause
he
if
did
we,
like he did
okay,
to
if
Bellamy.
we, like if we go in order, Chopper trash him, Nami trash her, Usopp trash him, uh, Robin trash her, Frankie. I feel like Frankie would put up a decent fight, but still get beat.
Hmm.
Same with Brooke. Brooke would put up a decent fight because I ain't gonna lie, Brooke showing against Big Mom, I was like, bro.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
Brooke had it.
Brooke is he had it on that one. That was he was the MVP of that arc.
Yes, he
Because
was.
he took on a Yonko and still managed to get the sketching.
That's so true. Oh
It's-
my gosh.
it was it? So then was it after Brooke would have been Sanji, and then that's why I think Sanji would still win, but it would still be a pretty difficult fight for both of them. But I don't think he's getting past Sanji though,
Nah, you're
because
yeah.
Sanji is like he's now has to be the most durable, like one of the most durable people there now with his German
Yeah.
tech.
You know what? That just leaves the question then. If that's where Kobe is, where's Helmeppo?
Helmeppo, I feel like he would stop at Frankie maybe.
I would have said okay, I would say Frankie or Brooke because I have to remember that Helmeppo is now a swordsman
Mm-hmm.
and Frankie can with so Frankie I would say it's because his iron body, he can withstand any like cuts like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say Brooke because sword, the sword play. And I feel like Helmeppo can use a few of the techniques too.
Mm-hmm. Like he
So
uses two sword style.
yeah. So I feel like he can use some of the some of the CP zeros techniques to enhance his sword style, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't be
So
surprised if he knew like how to do that who's who, like when he chucked those knife things. I wouldn't be surprised if he knew that.
yeah. So I feel like that would put him on par with maybe Brooke a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's where I feel like he would probably be
I agree.
at. I feel like he would probably if he's somewhere around Brooke, I feel like Brooke would probably still win just because of who Brooke,
Experience.
yeah, who Brooke is.
And then Brooke is also kind of broken himself too.
Exactly.
Like he could rip your soul out of you if he really wants to.
Yes, exactly. So if
Like
he, so
he's literally the perfect counter for Big Mom.
that's why I thought like if whatever Big Mom's like what was her thing? Um, what was
Uh,
her? What
she
was it
can.
called?
I don't want to call it the soul fruit, but it's like she can basically kind of like manipulate people. Not manipulate people's souls, but she could literally like steal your soul, put it in other objects, or put it into her to enhance her power.
Right. I feel like Brooks wouldn't be he would she wouldn't be able to do that to Brooke because Brooke has full like mobility over his soul. So anywhere that she puts his soul into, I feel like he'll literally like say no thank you, going back to my own body, you
Right?
know?
Yeah. What is it, Brooke? Well, but yeah, that I feel like that's where they would be at. Like, what is it? Kobe would be right, like basically on Sanji's ass right now.
Okay.
Which honestly, I feel like at some point, because I stand by the notion that Kobe is going to be the Garp to Luffy's Roger,
Garp to Luffy's right.
and so like he has
Yes.
like so like, and I think I'm not actually starting to think Kobe is going to unlock a Conqueror's Hockey too.
Well, he has the observation down. Like he can hear everyone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like how uh Luffy and Momosuke first developed theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he can at least do the observation part right, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if he'll have the whole conquerors hockey down. Maybe advanced, but I don't know.
I'll say at the end of the series, he will unlock it, but he won't master it.
Okay.
But it's like if
I
Oda
don't
gives us like a pretty decent long time skip, so like let's just say it's like 15, 20 years into the future, then that's when he will have mastered it. But at the end of the series, I don't think he'll master it. I think he'll have it, but he won't master it.
okay. Yeah, you're probably right. Because
'Cause-
also, I don't think it's in his personality to have like to even master conquerors hockey. Because I feel like you have to have like what's something will like unbroken will to do that.
But Kobe kind of already he doesn't have an unbroken will. Like he wants to be the best Marine out there.
I know, but compared to Luffy, someone who literally fought Kaido like 5 different times said, "I am not dying just yet. I'm coming to beat your ass."
So here's where I could say here's I think it could change your mind. Look at Katakuri for example. Like Luffy, in my opinion, has a better control of Conqueror's Hockey than he does. But it's like it doesn't matter who has the stronger like the. It doesn't matter who has Conqueror's Hockey. It's just who has a better mastery of it.
I think hmm, you
So
might be it might be somewhat right on that. I just think it's more with I think Conqueror's Hockey instead of being more about I understand it's all about mastery too. But I mean in strength of like in strength of it, I feel like it has something to do with more about determination, if that makes sense.
yeah, and I think Kobe has that determination. Like he does he already shown he wants to change the Marines on like how they handle certain situations. He's not going to say no to anybody who needs help. And he always states he wants to be basically the top of the Marines, which in Luffy's case, which is the opposite of Luffy, who wants to be the top of the pirates.
Yes, but I think it's still built into Kobe's base nature to always take a step back before he starts running forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like it wouldn't benefit him to like it wouldn't benefit him as much as it would for someone else.
I feel like you can still have Conqueror's Hockey, but still be like tactical and think about stuff before acting on it.
You can too. I feel like that's what Shanks does, but
Exactly, because he
I
got that drive-by hockey.
yes, but I also feel like you can't hesitate first and then you know because that's sort of Kobe's sort of thing. Like he hasn't. All right, so when a certain situation happens, he doesn't full on hesitate, but when he sees the situation is starting to get stacked against him more and more, he's wondering can he even win? You know what I mean?
And I think that's where in the chapter where he finally used his honest, like we get to see him do his honesty impact for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when like Garp was like trying to really push that out of like Kobe, where it's like like even in the live action, where it's like Garp explained to Kobe, is like you think way too much, and then and then because you think too much, you start to overthink and start to back yourself out of it.
Right.
And I think that's what Kobe needs to get out of it. So I think that's also what I was going back with saying like at the end of the series, that's when he's going to unlock his Conqueror's Hockey because he's going to realize I need to do this. I need to stop overthinking it. Boom, Conqueror's Hockey. He's not going to have mastery of it, but he got it.
Okay.
That's why.
Maybe
That's how I kind of see it. Like
that
he's
might.
not. It's not like we're going to go to the final war. He's like, I got Conqueror's Hockey. No, I think he's going to be like something's going to be like something like he sees something's about to happen and he needs to react to it now. And by him reacting to it instead of just thinking about it, that's when the Conqueror Hockey is going to be like boom, and like people are going to drop, like not drop dead, but like drop down and be like, Conqueror's Hockey. Kobe is like, oh, what's this ability? And of course, us readers, we're going to know, yo, Kobe unlocked Conqueror's Hockey, but Kobe's not going to know it's Conqueror's Hockey. Same way how Usopp unlocked the observation, but he didn't know what it was. But we knew it was observation, but he didn't know what it was.
You know what's crazy? They still haven't pushed that forward yet to the point where he has to train it more.
I think he's gonna do that when they get to Elbath.
I hope so because that would be hella useful. Because all everybody else, like, who was it? It was Luffy, it was Sanji, and it was it was Usopp. It was just those three, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like because I forget what scene this was. They were on the ship, and then they sent some like I think like a giant sea king or a fish or something approaching. There's like something's like what is that or something's approaching or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But they couldn't see anything. But they all sensed the danger, like something's coming. And Usopp was like, "What is that?" Like he was the only one who was confused.
Yeah.
But he still looked in the same direction everybody else was looking. I don't know what scene this is, but it happened.
Was this recent?
It's post time skip, of course,
Because
but
this happened in ACAT where Luffy said, "Oh, there's a strong force coming this way," and it was, and I think he was right. It was him, Sanji, and Usopp all look in the same direction, but it's like Usopp was the only one just like, "Yo, who is that?" And like he sensed it
um,
himself.
I feel like it wasn't on Egghead because it hasn't. It was animated already.
Okay. Because that's what happened in ACAT on a spoiler alert again. Dag, we've been doing a lot of spoiler alerts this episode. All right, you want to finish it up real quick? Because we're on our last scene now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to look for the scene while we're finishing up because I'm really curious.
All right, so to end it off, guys, sorry again for all the spoiler alerts, but in this so in final scene, Nami is running away because they took her money, and she's like upset that they took her money, and she's like she falls over, and then that's when we see Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp Well, mainly Luffy. Luffy comes up and just like, "Hey Nami, what's up?" And Nami literally turns around just like, "Luffy, I need your help." And I think that was like the confirmation Luffy was waiting for, when he was like, when he said he wanted to hear from Nami herself, and he finally got the confirmation. Like, "Yup, Nami's being used. We need to save our friend." And then that's where we get the iconic scene of
Okay, sorry, I found
uh
it.
what
It
was
was in
it?
the movie. It was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the Heart of Gold.
They do use the movies a lot to kind of show off like what might be happening to certain characters pretty soon too.
Yeah, but I found the exact scene or clip.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. If you just all right, let's look at my stream for a second.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the invisible ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, what's this? I feel something is here. Yeah, this is like the only time where Usopp shows like he has observation hockey clearly, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody else knows exactly what it is. He's still like kind of clueless.
True.
So
So
yeah, that's what I was talking about.
so here's my thing is, who do you think is going to train him? I think his dad has to train him on how to do it correctly.
His
Cause we
dad
are,
probably has to.
cause like we already seen them like we already seen him kind of train him a little bit in film Red,
Yeah.
where he was like, "All right, focus, focus. There you are, my boy."
Like you finally noticed me.
Yeah, and honestly, that was actually kind of one of my favorite scenes. And I would say I would put that in probably my top 5 favorite scenes of all of One Piece now. Just that whole thing where it's like, was it everybody like this red hair, Katakuri, and I think it was one Marine all teaming up, and it was like Luffy and them teaming up in the Dream World, and it was all attacking
Right.
Uta at one time.
Uh-huh.
And it's like you could kind of, and I think personally, I think they was using that scene to kind of show who's going to be matched up against who.
Oh yeah, that's true. If they went up against when they went up against the red hair pirates or whatever.
Yep, because a prime example was of course you got Luffy and Shanks attacking together.
Yeah.
Then you had Zoro and Ben Beckman attacking together. But
Uh-huh.
then one that really like kind of clarified it for me was Sanji and what's his name what's the big dude's name? Dang, I'm drawing a blank here.
The oh,
What's his name?
crap.
Right?
Hold on. Okay. Uh red hair pirates. It's Lucky Rocks.
Lucky Roo.
Lucky Roo. Okay. I'm about to say
Yep. So yeah, when Shanji and Lucky Roo team together, but then in the SBS, Oda said that Lucky Roo is actually one of the fastest people in the world.
that does he have a devil fruit?
No, Shanks' crew is nobody has a devil fruit. Well, unless you count Uta, because now she is that technically canon now. But like,
That's
she'll be the only one with a devil fruit, but everybody else doesn't.
okay. That's interesting.
Because that would also kind of explain like when they shot down that bandit dude, Lucky Roo just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that makes a whole lot more sense because he literally showed up right beside him and said, "Pop." And while he was eating the whole what chicken bone or whatever.
Yep, because Lucky Roo loves eating, and he's a chef of the Red Hair Pirates.
Yeah, I see that senior officer, combatant, cook.
Yep. So it makes perfect sense.
Okay, huh?
But yeah, we finally get the iconic scene here. I know I just pulled it up. Here it is. So we get the iconic scene of the Straw Hats all waiting for Luffy to show up, And let me see if I could pull up the actual one itself, because Nami finally asked for that help, and I ain't gonna lie, it kind of looks badass. Like they did this scene clean in this.
Yeah, it had to be exactly. It has to be exactly like the same.
Like I'm about to bring up a 101 to this, cause like you see, you got Luffy walking up. We got Zoro sitting there. He even got the arm placement with the leg correctly too.
Uh huh.
You
The only
got
thing, the only difference is that his sword isn't in between his arms. That's the only difference.
nope, but I'm okay. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah.
You got Usopp sitting there, arms crossed, face down, just like I'm focusing. I'm focusing.
Uh huh.
Sanji front and center, smoking that cigarette, same hand and everything too. Only difference is what, and then you see Nami in the background crying. Only difference is this is during the day, this is at nighttime, but that's it. But that scene was clean. That scene is clean, and
Yeah.
that is how the seventh episode of the One Piece live action ended, as the crew's about to go fight the Arlong pirates for Nami's sake. So
Gotcha.
B, I'm gonna ask you this: what would
What's
you
up?
rate this episode out of 10?
This episode, for me, this episode was pretty much just background, backstory for Nami, for
Mm-hmm.
me anyway, and then just a little bit of Garp and Kobe catching up to Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
But with this like this scene right here, when it leaves you off like this,
Mm-hmm.
like this is too cold. Just like this makes you want to watch the next episode. Like, oh, it's about to go down. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with this scene, I will give it 9, maybe 9.5.
I would give it an 8.7. The only thing why is because it's just that with the villagers knowing what Nami is doing versus them not knowing what she's doing.
Oh, you know what? That is true. I must keep mine at a 9. Then it's a solid 9
Yeah.
because I wish they knew. That's the only thing. Like they should have known.
Like
Like,
if they threw that part in this episode and then like they all knew, honestly it would have been a perfect 10 episode.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Like between our long speech, this scene here, I ain't gonna lie, the actress that plays Nami, she actually bodied the role pretty good in this episode. Like I actually like felt bad for her. I was like, oh come on, like
Well, yeah.
why you gotta be a dick for her like that? And then even with Zeph pretty much just like honing in on Garp was like, yo dog, we are from the same generation, and just let your grandson do what he does and guarantee this world will change. But yeah, that's how I see it. I give it an 8.7. You give it a 9.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm about to end it off here, man. Thank y'all for
All
being
right.
on. Thank y'all for watching this episode of One Piece Pirate Talk Hour. I am your host, Monkey D Hokage, with Pirate Hunter HV Nimby or HV Nimbus.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
I promise. And remember, 10 toes down with Arlong.
Oh God.
All right, man. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay cool, stay chilly, man.